It started with a sound I almost ignored. My phone buzzed past midnight, sharp, insistent, out of rhythm with sleep. I thought it was my alarm at first, but when I blinked at the screen I saw Ethan. My boyfriend. We never called each other this late. Texts, yes. Memes, voice notes, plans for brunch, but not calls. Not at 12:37 a.m. Half asleep I answered, whispering, "Hey, are you okay?" Silence. Then a sound, muffled breathing, a soft shuffle, like the phone was against fabric. I was about to hang up when I heard it. A woman's voice. She laughed. It wasn't loud, not even distinct, just that quiet, easy kind of laugh people make when they're comfortable, when they belong somewhere. "Ethan," I said again. The call ended. I stared at the dark screen for a long time. The tiny call-ended line glowed like an accusation. My stomach felt cold, but my brain tried to stay rational. Maybe it was a butt dial. Maybe he was half asleep. Maybe it was nothing. Except, Ethan wasn't the kind of guy who accidentally called. He was careful, organized, sometimes almost too controlled. I didn't sleep the rest of the night. At 8 a.m. I texted, "Hey, you called last night. Everything okay?" He didn't reply for 2 hours. When he finally did, it was simple. "Sorry, didn't mean to. Must have been a pocket dial. Slept like a rock'll." I stared at the word LOL for a long time. It didn't sound like him. I didn't mention the voice. I just couldn't. That night we met for dinner. Thai place near his apartment. He hugged me as usual, same warmth, same smell of cologne and detergent. But when I leaned into him I noticed something. His shirt had a faint scent of perfume. Floral, not mine. "You smell different," I said. He laughed it off. "New fabric softener." That night I watched him the whole dinner. The way he checked his phone face down. The way his smile flickered when I asked about his weekend plans. He used to talk to me about everything, his job, his running schedule, even random YouTube rabbit holes. But lately everything was shorter, vaguer. By dessert I couldn't help myself. "Ethan, can I ask you something?" He nodded, mouthful of mango sticky rice. "Who were you with last night?" He froze. Only for a second, but I saw it, the tiny pause before he smiled. "What are you talking about?" "You called me. I heard someone." He blinked slowly, like recalibrating. "I told you it was a mistake. Maybe from the gym locker. You probably heard the TV or something." But his tone, that calm, calculated one, only made it worse. I wanted to believe him, but something in his eyes had shifted. Distance. Like he was already somewhere else. That night I went home, crawled into bed, and opened notes on my phone. I started writing everything I noticed, small things. Missed calls, tone changes, little lies. A weird part of me wanted to gather proof before admitting I didn't trust him anymore. The next few days he became even more distant. One-word replies. Delayed texts. I tried to focus on work, but every buzz from my phone felt like a test. Then on Friday I got another call. Same number. Same hour, 12:41 a.m. My heart hammered. This time I didn't say anything. I just listened. Muffled laughter again. A voice, clearer this time, said, "You should really tell her, Ethan." The call cut. My hand trembled. I stared at my reflection in the phone screen, and for the first time I realized I might not want to know the truth. I didn't sleep that night. Every time I closed my eyes I heard that voice again. "You should really tell her, Ethan." The words looped in my mind like a heartbeat I couldn't silence. By morning my fear had turned into something sharper. Curiosity mixed with dread. I needed to know. I called him at 9 a.m. straight. No answer. Texted, "Hey, can we talk today?" He replied hours later. "Busy. Can we do tomorrow?" That was it. No emoji, no warmth. Tomorrow. I sat on my couch staring at the screen until my coffee went cold. Then I did something I wasn't proud of. I opened my laptop, logged into our shared streaming account, and checked his recently watched list. One new title. Some romantic movie he'd never watch alone. Clicked it. The subtitle track was set to French. He didn't speak French. But she did. 2 months earlier, we'd gone to a birthday party for one of his coworkers. That's when I first met her, Claire. She was in marketing, tall, confident, with that effortless cool girl energy. She joked in French with a waiter that night. I'd noticed the way Ethan looked at her. Not obvious but softer, intrigued. Now my stomach twisted. I wanted to believe I was imagining things, but the pieces lined up too neatly. I scrolled through Instagram and searched her profile. Private. But her profile photo, taken at a restaurant patio, had the same warm lighting as the Thai place Ethan loved. I checked his last post. A photo of his dinner plate from last Friday. The reflection on his glass? Someone else's hand. Not mine. My fingers trembled as I zoomed in. Pale skin. Gold bracelet. Claire had one. That was the moment I realized. I wasn't imagining it. The next day I went to his apartment. I told myself I'd stay calm, just talk, not accuse. But when I knocked and he opened the door, half-dressed, hair still damp from the shower, I saw a pink toothbrush beside his sink. Not mine. He froze when he saw me looking at it. Oh, that. My sister visited, he said quickly. I stared at him. Ethan, you don't have a sister. His jaw tightened. That tiny pause again. We stood there in silence until he finally sighed. Can we not do this right now? Please. Then when? I snapped. After another midnight call? He looked at me and for a second I thought he might admit it. His eyes softened, guilt flickering like a dying light. But then he stepped back and said quietly, "You're overthinking. Go home, get some rest." And he closed the door. I stood there for a full minute, my hand still on the knob, feeling the final click of trust breaking. That night I couldn't stop replaying it all. The lies, the cover-ups, the voice on the phone. I sat on my bed, shaking, trying to decide whether to confront him again or just walk away. Then a message popped up from an unknown number. You deserve to know the truth. No name. Just that line. I froze. Typed back. Who is this? No reply. My heart pounded so hard it hurt. I clicked the number. No photo, no saved contact, but the area code matched his. Then another message came through. Check room 217. Parkside Hotel. I stared at the screen. My pulse roared in my ears. I didn't know if it was a trap or mercy, but I knew one thing. I couldn't ignore it. So I grabbed my coat, keys, and phone. And I drove. The hotel was only 20 minutes away, but it felt endless. The hallways smelled of disinfectant and old carpet. Room 217 was quiet, the door closed, lights under it faint. I stood there for a long time, hand raised, wondering if I wanted the answer or if I'd rather keep pretending. Then from inside I heard laughter. A man's voice. Ethan's. And a woman's. I didn't knock. I just listened, until I realized I was crying without making a sound. For a moment I couldn't move. I stood outside room 217, the carpet scratching against my shoes, the air conditioner humming like it was mocking me. Behind that door, Ethan's voice rose and fell in a rhythm I knew too well, calm, low, affectionate. The same tone he used with me. Then came her laugh. Claire's. I pressed my palm against the wall to steady myself. My vision tunneled, heart pounding so hard it blurred sound. I should have left. Walked away with dignity, silence, control. But instead I knocked. Once. Firm. The talking stopped. Then footsteps. The door opened halfway, and there he was, Ethan, wearing that same startled expression people get when they're caught in a dream they can't wake from. He froze. Maya. I didn't look at him. My eyes slid past his shoulder into the room. A woman's purse sat on the table. Her perfume hung in the air. Claire stepped into view, wrapped in one of the hotel's white robes. It was almost cinematic, too clean, too cruel. She looked at me like she was the one being interrupted. Maybe I should. No, I said. My voice was calm. I didn't even recognize it. You both can stay right where you are. Ethan started to speak. It's not what it looks like. I laughed. I couldn't help it. Please, Ethan. It's exactly what it looks like. For a second, the three of us stood in silence. The hum of the air conditioner, the distant elevator ding, the quiet collapse of everything I'd built around him. He looked at me with that familiar regret, the kind that means I'm sorry I got caught, not I'm sorry I hurt you. So I said the only thing left to say. You don't have to tell me why. Just make sure you never call me again. Then I turned and walked away. Outside, the night felt colder than I remembered. I sat in my car, gripping the steering wheel, shaking. Not from sadness but from clarity. The truth had weight, yes, but it also had light. For weeks, I'd lived in confusion, half believing, half denying. Now there was nothing left to guess. Just the raw, ugly honesty of it all. I drove until the city lights blurred behind me. I didn't go home. I went to my sister's place. She opened the door in her pajamas, eyes widening at my face. I just said, "I found out." She didn't ask how. She just hugged me tight until the shaking stopped. The next morning my phone buzzed. Ethan. I stared at the name for a full minute, then answered. Silence first, always silence with him. Then, Maya, please. Let me explain. There's nothing left to explain, I said. You made your choice. I just finally saw it. He said he was sorry, that he'd made a mistake, that it didn't mean anything. But I'd heard the way he laughed with her. You can't fake ease like that. Not for months. Not through all the lies. I hope she's worth what you lost, I said quietly. Then I hung up. Weeks passed. I deleted our photos, unfollowed him, changed my number. The silence that followed was heavy but clean. I started noticing things again. The way light hit my kitchen counter in the morning. The smell of coffee, the sound of traffic. Ordinary things that had always been there, waiting for me to return. I began writing again. Not lists of lies this time, just thoughts, memories, pieces of myself I'd forgotten to keep. Sometimes I still think about that night. Not the betrayal, but the moment I walked away. That was the real ending. Not when I caught him, but when I finally stopped needing answers. A few weeks later I got one last message. No name, just a number I didn't recognize. I hope you're okay. I didn't reply. I just stared at it, smiled once and deleted it. As I was. For the first time in a long time, I really was.